It's no secret that woodland photography can be challenging, and it's also no secret that summer itself can be challenging in terms of doing landscape photography. And if you put those two factors together, it's no surprise that a lot of photographers avoid the woodland completely in summer. They don't like the often harsh contrasty light, and some people are not a fan of lots of green colour in their photographs. But in this video I want to show you why I personally spend a lot of time in woodlands in summer, and I think you can still take really nice woodland photographs. And I want to just inspire and encourage people to go out with their cameras, go into the woodlands during midday in summer and try and get nice photographs. And hopefully emphasize the point that we don't always need to be out at the best times of day, golden hour, sunrise, sunset. We don't always need to be out in woodlands when there's mist or autumn colour or spring colour. We really can get nice images at any time of the year. So that's what I hope to encourage you to do in this video. Now, I've been spending a bit of time in this woodland over the last week, and I want to revisit a couple of spots from which I've taken nice images. And I just want to give some tips and ideas about how to approach woodland photography in summer, and as I said, hopefully give you some good inspiration. So before I continue walking through this woodland to find the couple of areas that I've photographed in the last few days, I want to talk briefly about the importance of light and location when doing woodland photography in summer. So in terms of light, my favoured conditions are to head out when it's slightly overcast, or on days where the sun has spells in which it's behind cloud. So if it goes behind some cloud or it's more overcast, you get that nice soft diffused light. Even in summer, especially in Scotland, we get those conditions a lot. And that can provide some nice light for creating effective photographs. On a day such as this, it is a bit harder. There's more contrast. So the sun is quite bright in the sky. There's not a lot of clouds, so we're not getting that nice soft diffused light. And as you can maybe see behind me here off in the distance, you get that bright patches which can be distracting in woodland photography. On a day such as this, you can still get nice photographs, but I would tend to focus on the smaller, more intimate areas of the woodland, maybe looking for some areas that are in the shade or are being highlighted, maybe say a few ferns that's got some nice light on them, surrounded by a much darker area. That can work quite effectively. The next important thing, of course, is location, and I like to head to woodlands in summer which have got a lot of trees in them, and because there's so much foliage, so much growth in summer, that provides a lot of shade. So in this woodland here, I'm quite fortunate in a lot of areas because there's just such a large canopy around the subjects that I want to photograph. There's a lot of shade, and when you combine that with a nice soft subtle diffused light, it really can work well to capture some nice photographs. So if we have a look at this tree stump here just in front of me as an example, the light is still very harsh all around me and contrasty, but because of the shade offered by the canopy above, we've got some nice soft diffused light on this little tree stump here. So as I said, if you focus on the smaller details or smaller sections of the woodland, you can definitely still find some nice photographs. I ventured on through the woodland to the first area which I photographed a few days ago. Unfortunately, I've encountered some issues with the files that I recorded, so all I have are a couple of short clips of that section. Not to worry though, as I'll cover now the things that I spoke about. There are three key ingredients that I like to look for when photographing in woodland in summer, and these, in my opinion, are more important than fog or mist, autumn or spring colour, or being out early or late to capture what is traditionally thought of as the best light. My top priorities, or my three ingredients for making an effective woodland composition, are one or more strong subjects, suitable light, creating an effective composition around the previous 2 points. So in the case of the photograph that you're about to see, I first found my strong subject by spotting the tree on the right with the ivy growing around it. It was made even better by having some reflected light on it. Then I studied the scene to consider potential compositions while observing the light. I soon found a similar tree beyond it which curved similarly but in the opposite direction. I took note of the path leading into the woodland and around some strong characterful trees in the distance. With my main and secondary subjects identified, I studied the light more. The sun was casting its light from the top right of the image, and due to the thick summer foliage that I mentioned earlier in the video, and the weather that day, the light from the sun was nice and soft. It also created some nice highlights towards the end of the path. I considered all these elements and finalised my composition and took the following photograph. So I've reached the second spot from which I took a couple of images the other day, and what an impressive tree. It's really impressive in terms of its width, its height, and it's got such an interesting shape and form to its trunk. It really is something that I want to photograph when I see it. And again, when I captured this the other day, the three key points that I spoke about earlier in the video were what I concentrated on. And that was finding a really strong subject, such as this. And I also had an interesting secondary subject, this fallen tree just behind me here. Then I concentrated on working to establish a couple of nice compositions, and then capturing those when the light was correct. Now, when I captured the images from here, it was roughly about 11 in the morning, a few days ago in the peak of summer. So not when you would really think about heading out to capture some nice woodland images. And I guess you could describe the weather as having sunny spells. The sun was out for periods and it briefly went behind some cloud as well. And the other thing that I spoke about earlier in terms of looking for scenes with a strong thick summer canopy really helped me here. I've certainly got that here. The canopy from this tree is really thick. So even on a day such as today, where looking through the small gaps in the trees we've got bright blue sky and bright sunlight, I still think I could take a reasonable image here, but not as nice as I got the other day because the light was slightly better. So the other day I had some nice soft light on the side of this tree, and there was some nice soft light on the fallen tree just behind me here, and I was very mindful of that when I was framing up my compositions. So I wanted to take a wider shot to take in the tree, the fallen log here, the fallen tree, sorry, and this branch which outstretches over that fallen tree. And I thought that was a really nice composition, and it worked really well with how the soft diffuse light was positioned. And then the other shot that I took was a different aspect ratio from this angle, and I wanted to take a shot from here because the nice soft light on the side of this tree was very effective, and I wanted to shoot from this angle to show the interesting shapes and overall form of the trunk of the tree, and also still show that fallen tree just behind it. So I think that was quite a nice angle to shoot from, just to show the nice patterns and shapes on this tree trunk here. And that's what I was trying to do, and it was key to capture them both when the light was nice. So I think at the moment I captured it, it was probably just going behind some clouds, and the nice soft light on that day was at its best. But again, another image captured in the peak of, or a couple of images captured in the peak of summer at roughly 11:15 in the morning. And I just hope you like the images and that it gives you some encouragement to head out and see what you can capture. So that's it for this video. I really do hope you enjoyed watching and enjoyed seeing the images that I've captured, and I hope you found the information useful. My main hope with this video is that it encourages at least a few of you to head out into a woodland, even though it's summer, with your camera. Enjoy your time there and see if you can capture a few nice images that you're proud of. I really do think it's a rewarding experience. But as always, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and hopefully I'll see you in my next one.
I don't care if the darkness is soon to arrive. Just save me a place in the hungry sky. I don't mind if the dawn doesn't fall of the night. I'll be safe in the place that you said was mine.